Kate, and I can't believe I'm finally saying it, but welcome to my channel! Look, I went ahead and decided to go with my natural everyday glam. It's one of my most requested and asked for looks on Instagram in terms of tutorials and you all wanting to see how I achieve this look. So if you want to see step by step of how I got this glam, then please keep on watching. The first thing I use is the Mario Badescu Rose Water and Aloe Spray. This is just super refreshing and really hydrating, helps wake me up a tad. So I'm just gonna mist it all over my face. I probably use an excessive amount, but it's fine, it just feels really good. Next thing I'm gonna use is the Hydrogel Lift by Pure. This is for the under eyes. It is going to help smooth them out, helps with depuffing, and is a little bit cooling too. So it's just like this tiny little guy, but it does so much. The next thing that I do is I take the Clinique. This is the Moisture Surge. It's a 72-hour moisturizer. Comes in this big jar, but you could definitely get smaller size if you wanted. I just put a little on my fingertips and then just apply it to my entire face. And then to top it all off, I'm going to use the Laura Mercier foundation primer. So this has been my favorite for a couple of months now, probably since summer. I just am gonna use like a pea and a half maybe size drop, and that is just gonna go right on top and goes all over your face too. That basically concludes my little skincare prep that I always do. Essentially every time I do my makeup, I do all of those steps. So with that being done, we can hop right into my actual makeup routine. I'm sure you guys have noticed I have like these beautiful puffy bags under my eyes, which is fantastic. Coffee can fix a lot of things, but it cannot fix that. Luckily though, this little Eye Duty Triple Remedy from First Aid Beauty can, so it is for sure a lifesaver. I discovered this within the last month and oh my god, the difference it makes is unreal. So I'm excited to show you guys this like actually in action. I am going to just apply some. It's like this peachy color. It's gonna basically help cancel out all of the blue and like purple tones under my eyes. So I applied it, and then on the flip side, you just use a little applicator to massage it on in. For foundation today, I'm gonna use the Frankie Rose. This is the Matte Perfection Foundation in the shade Olive. This has been my favorite for months now. I fell in love ever since I first tried it and can't stop using it. I'm probably a little weird if you watch a lot of makeup tutorials. I'm sure you see people usually apply foundation just directly to their face. I don't do that. I just apply it directly to my beauty blender. That just seems to work best for me. And then the way I like to apply my foundation is like kind of one side at a time. And then just kind of work my way down and up. I always like to make sure I get down here. I'm sure you guys can also see by watching this that my foundation is a little bit darker than my actual skin, but what I'm going to do, because I do self tan the rest of my body, is I'm going to blend it down my neck and we will be good to go. For concealer, I am also using Frankie Rose. This is the Our Little Secret concealer in the shade Chai. This has also been my all-time favorite since trying both this and the foundation out. It has the best coverage, hands down, and I just am a huge fan of the formula. Concealer, I go right into setting everything, and my go-to setting powder is the Too Faced Ethereal Setting Powder. I just love the finish of this. I love the way it works. It always looks really nice. It doesn't have flashbacks, so this has become my go-to. I am just going to take this and kind of stipple it around the areas that haven't been set yet, to make sure like any other powders, like my bronzer and stuff, are going to glide right on. I don't want any part of my face to be sticky. It's never good, and that's when you can get like very patchy colors or cakey look, which we do not want. The other thing I do is I also am going to put some powder on my neck. Since I brought my foundation down, I want to make sure that's not sticky at all. So that is like an important detail to always keep in mind. And then I'm just gonna go through and get my forehead. So once all of my face has been set, I move on to bronzer. I'm gonna be using the Hoola bronzer by Benefit today, and I'm using it in this cheek palette that it came in. This is like the first cheekathon palette that they ever came out with. So I know this is old, please don't judge me. I just completely used my single one of my Hoola, so I ran out, and this is what I got to work with. The brush I'm using before I get started, this is the Angle Blush Brush. It's the L312. This is by Stilazzi, but personally, I just love the way that it applies bronzer. I think it does a beautiful job. And so yeah, this has become my bronzer brush. I like a lot of bronzer, so I'm just gonna layer this bad boy on up, and we can worry about lines or anything like that later if they are present. I also just kind of stipple it along my forehead. I bring it down around my hairline too, just to blend it all out. So the other important thing to keep in mind and not forget is to take a little bronzer around your jawline. That's super important to help blend everything out. I don't know why I wear these big hoops. They are just getting in the way. So last thing that is left in terms of bronzer is to contour and bronze my nose. So this is the brush I use. I'm not sure the name of it, but it's by It Cosmetics. I got it forever ago, but I know it is still available, so I will link it for you guys. This has been my favorite brush to bronze my nose. It just makes things really easy, which I appreciate. But I'm just gonna take this and go right down the sides. And then I just get the tip of my nose too. Once I have contoured or bronzed my nose, I'm gonna take my beauty blender with no extra product on it. I'm just going to go down the center to buff out any harsh lines that might be there. The worst thing that I think you can have is like a overly harsh contoured nose, which I was really great at doing a couple years ago. So thank God for improvement. And I'm just gonna take it down the sides and just kind of like stipple it out to make sure everything is blended. The next thing that I do is I take some translucent powder on my beauty blender and I'm just going to set under here and let that basically bake for a little bit. Just because we want to carve out my cheekbones just a tad. And then I'll go back through with a fluffy brush and dust that off. I take this Candle Glow Sheer Perfecting Powder. This is by Laura Mercier. I have fallen in love with this stuff. It is just the prettiest little pop of luminosity that I feel like your skin needs. So I only apply this under my eyes. I'm sure on camera it probably looks like nothing, but in the grand scheme of things, this is just a really, really pretty touch. And just gives your skin some life, which is nice because it is a setting powder. It's not like a full-blown highlight, so it's not glittery. It's just like a little sheer glow or shimmer, if you will. I also use it up here on my forehead because it helps, I feel like, to blend out and basically dust off any lines that you might have with your bronzer. Moving on to brows, I'm using the CoverGirl. This is the Microfine and Define Brow Pencil. I use the shade Honey Brown. It's dual-ended, so it has a little spoolie on one end and then pencil on the other. It's also twist up, which is great because you do not have to worry about sharpening it. My brows are done. Next thing is brow gel, which I cannot live without. I'm going to be using Busy Gal Brow by Tarte, and this is in the shade Medium Brown. If you all have seen me post this look before on Instagram, then I'm sure you know that the eye makeup for this is minimal. It's actually non-existent. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my beauty blender and just kind of pat over my eyelids just to make sure everything's in place and nothing is creasing. For this look, truly, I do not put any sort of shadow on. So that is like a huge time saver, which is really great for if you know, you're running out the door and just need something that's light and airy, focused on the skin, and you don't have to put a lot of effort into your eye makeup and it still looks great. Once that's been done, then really I just go right into mascara. Big T's by Buxom is one of my favorites and go-tos. Basically, most of the products that I'm using today are go-tos of mine and ones that I use regularly. So my Big T's mascara came through as always, and we have some lashy goodness happening here on my face. So once my mascara has dried, then I do take, if I can find it, some liner. I like using this, what is this? This is a Marc Jacobs Highliner Gel Pencil Crown. Sorry, I don't know the name of it, but I love this stuff. So I like to line my like upper lash line or upper waterline. I'm not really sure which one this is called, but basically doing this is going to make your lash band look fuller. But we need to go ahead and buff this extra powder off. And once I do that, if I feel like there's any harsh lines that are left behind, I'm gonna take the brush that I use to apply my bronzer and I'm just going to buff over it. This next part is my favorite and the only other thing that we're gonna do to our eyes besides mascara, and that is the inner corner highlight. So I'm gonna use the Cover FX. This is the perfect highlight palette. Here, let me try to show you guys. And the shade that I use is this one right down here. It is very, very, very similar to Poodle by Too Faced, which I have ranted and raved about for so long, but you unfortunately can only get it in the Natural Love palette, which I don't believe is sold anymore. Another brush that I use to apply my inner corner highlight is the pencil brush. This is the E30 by Sigma. It is one of my favorites. I will only use either this brush or they have a smudge brush that works really nicely as well. So once I've done that, then I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some blush. I'm gonna use the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. It's a super gorgeous pinky peach color. It just gives like a pretty natural-ish glow to the cheeks. And the brush that I use to apply this is just a Real Techniques blush brush. I just kind of stipple it on. Then once that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and do some highlight. I'm just gonna use the same highlight palette that I use for my inner corner. And I'm gonna use this like pretty peachy pink shade here. And the brush that I use to apply my highlighter is the Anastasia brush, A23. I thought I had rubbed the name off, but she's still hanging on there. Only other thing that we have left to do at this point is lips, and I'm going to use the Buxom lip pencil in Hush Hush. Now for lipstick, I'm using my beloved Rimmel Kait in the shade 42. This is just my favorite nude color and it's really great for every day. And then I'm a huge fan of layering lipstick, so I'm taking the shade Keep It Flesh. Yes, Keep It Flesh by Sip and Glory, and I'm just going to pop that in the center. Then the very last thing that we have to do is set our entire face. So I'm using the All Nighter spray by Urban Decay. It's my favorite setting spray, and I'm just gonna warn you all now, I use a very generous amount. Just like that, we are done. I hope you all like this look. It's definitely been one of my most requested ones on Instagram, so I was super excited to be able to do this for you all today. Make sure if you haven't already liked this video, go hit that thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Also, if you want to be the first to know when I post a new video here on YouTube, then make sure to hit the bell so you get notifications about all of my new content that I put out. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me. I'm super excited to keep making videos for you all. It's definitely going to be a learning curve here on YouTube, but just bear with me. I'm sure I'll continue to grow and continue to improve all my content the longer that I'm on here and the more videos that I make. But I hope you all like this video. I love you guys so much, and until next time.